Well, yeah, I'll take you for a ride here. We're doing just a little bit of mowing here with the 2605H and this 84-inch Woods finish mower. I didn't feel like getting the 180 out because it's behind the, well, way back in the back behind the combine and all that stuff. So I just hooked up this this mower. It's doing the job just fine. So I'll take you with me for a minute. Alrighty, I don't know how well you can actually hear me. It's kind of a noisy process. I guess we'll find out. But let's switch gears here. So these 2600 series Massey's have a synchronized transmission. And 8 forward speeds, 2 reverse. Which is kind of nice because you can shift them on the fly, up and down. And then shuttle shift right here, which you do have to clutch, but you can shift it while you're on the move still. And then I know I saw in a couple of other questions on a couple other videos on these tractors, people are asking if it has a dual stage clutch, and the answer is yes. They are independent PTO with the dual stage clutch. This brome grass got tall. It should have been in here sooner. Which is kind of the story around here. Everything should be done sooner than I get to it. So in this area there's a bunch of poison ivy, and I just sprayed it. It is the one thing that I will use chemical on is poison ivy. And it's thick in there. And so I hit it with 2,4-D this morning. So we're not going to cut that right now. If I had a baler, I should be out here cutting this for hay. It's quite a bit of brome. Not that I have any use for hay. That's kind of the way it is with everything around here. The prairie is waking up. Grass is growing, and not much in the way of forbs. So this tractor runs about 1900 RPM. Is 540 PTO RPM, and that's about where I run it up with more, maybe a little bit more, 2,000 or so. A little bit better blade speed, especially in this higher grass. So this end of the field is, well, none of this ground's exceptionally good. This corner here is probably exceptionally poor. And those butches you see in bloom are common dogwood. I need to get down here with the chainsaw so so I can get under these trees. I guess I can take my chances, but I'm not feeling like it. Oh, that, I gotta do some branch cleanup. I definitely want to get these locust trees cut up. Down here, all these locusts around here are honey locusts, which are the ones with the big long thorns. And they will definitely go through a tire. So most of this grass that you're seeing me cut right now is brome. Excuse me. But there is some tall fescue in there as well. Around the edge of this field you can see the brown mark. Brown is, and to the left there is the prairie grass, native grasses. And what I'm in right now has been here for a while. And we're going to go around this. And like I said, there's a kind of a mix of brome and tall fescue for the most part. Now last year I had a whole bunch of sweet clover around the edge of this field, and this year hardly any. And it was yellow sweet clover, which is a two-year clover, meaning it'll grow year one and it'll bloom year two. And so I'm a little surprised that I had so much of it last year in bloom and so little this year. Because I would have thought we would have had a fair amount of self-seeding going on. And interestingly, in town, the clover in a frog hair city, if you will, that stuff is going to town. And out here, not hardly at all. And we are about 70 miles west of the Frog Hair City edition. This thing does, it's okay in this grass, but it's not great. That big old Massey 95 is awesome in this stuff. So I'll go out around this corner and then head back. Mainly in here, I just don't want to mow off the poison ivy right yet. That'll come later. In here, this is all tall fescue here. And then we're back into brome in here. I've definitely learned a fair amount about my grasses over the last few years. I like that, actually. Not something I paid a lot of attention to. we farmed in Iowa, hay wasn't something we dealt with. And most of the hay we did bale was alfalfa. So these grasses have been, I should say, an unknown quantity for me. I kind of hate letting us get this tall, but what do we do? I'm just kind of half lapping it. I'm not in a hurry, and that gives it a little better cut, a little better chance to chop up some of the already cut stuff. The tractor certainly would take a full width cut, no problem, but after a little better job here, we'll turn you around the backside. I get it, it's probably a pretty boring video, but I guess it gives me a little chance to show you what's going on and tell you a little bit more about this tractor. I like it. I need to get a knob on the steering wheel and make it a lot nicer. I have two minor complaints. Well, I have one really minor complaint about the tractor, and that is the step. They've got two steps, and neither one of them are in the right place. And they could definitely get by with one step halfway in between the two they've got. It'd be perfect. That's a minor beef. Now, the other thing, and probably technically no longer really in the cards, is that I do wish it had multi-power. And I've mentioned that before. I like multi-power. There's just a ton of times, like in this kind of grass, when you get into a real thick spot, you could, go into a little multi-power and get a better cut. When you get into a thinner spot, you can flip it into high on the move, and that just works great in a lot of different circumstances. Beautiful day. So I'll make a rant about something, and that's realtor. My son and I were looking at 80 acres, and we just had the opportunity to walk it today. And the realtor told us, I've got two other interested parties, and one of them's made an offer, the other says they're going to. So what I'm going to do is whoever gives me the best offer by the end of the day, I'm going to take that to dinner. I'm like, okay, fair enough. So my son called him back a little bit later. He had a couple of questions, and he goes, well, sorry, it's not available anymore. We're like, what? He goes, yeah. He goes, I countered the guy that put in the offer, and they accepted. Like, okay, well, that's not what you said you were going to do. You know, it's when situations like that, you know, it's fair game, all of it, you know, except for me, I'd rather you do one of two things. Either do what you say you're going to do, or just tell me, hey, I'm going to counter this guy in the next hour or so. If you want to make an offer, knock yourself out. We could have either acted accordingly or said, go right ahead. Either way. But at least we know we would have our expectations set properly. Anyway, we're not gonna cry about it. But I will bitch about it a little bit. How about that? And he was a nice enough guy. But I will say, I wouldn't have mind having that 80 acres. We'll just have to keep our ear to the ground. You might wonder, what the hell are you going to do with another 80 acres when you're screwing this up already? And that might be a valid question. Mostly, it's just more space to experiment. And play around. We probably would have certainly taken a portion of it and put it into native prairie. It was just pasture, no timber. I don't think it'd been cropped for a while. There's a fourth of it or so on brome, and it had been grazed last fall, but we probably would have taken a portion of it, put it back to native prairie, probably would have hayed 20 acres or so of brome, and then who knows what. It had a great spot to build a pond, probably would have done that, but oh well. You're probably getting tired of looking at me. Well, we are gonna call this the last pass for today. It's good enough for now. People fishing the lake today. And our resident bald eagle is still around. He was flying over with a fish in his talons. So he caught some lunch. We've been out here, I think, 6 years now. I've owned this place for that long, and that eagle was here for one of the family. Was here on the first day that I looked at this place. And he's been around ever since. Either that or the descendants or something, because they definitely have nested around here, I think, on the other side there. That's cool. I like it. Well, we're just gonna straddle these two areas. Oh, by the way, if you want to find the twine and rope and all that stuff that you dropped accidentally in your field, just mow it. The mower will find it just fine. Ask me how I know. Babble anyhow. So you have a good day. Come on back, and if there's something about any of these tractors or anything like that you want to know about, you let me know. I've got a few old Massies and cats, and while I'm not necessarily an expert on them all, I could usually tell you something, so don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks much.